Alright, Patreon family. Very random impromptu little video audio format podcast for all the lovely subscribers, or as I like to call you guys, my little croutons and croutonettes in the world of salad. You just gotta toss it, baby. You know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm a Greek salad kind of guy, I'm a Caesar salad kind of guy. All that other bullshit can go to the wayside. Fucking deli salads. Oh, I shouldn't change lanes. This is gonna be a tough one today, you know, because I'm going to focus on driving, so it's going to be a little bit of a game. You know, anyway, Caesar salads are oh fucking ball sack. Here we go, baby. All right, we're not accelerating too quickly now. Put this bitch in cruise control. Toggle my little whip to 50 miles per hour. Speed limit's 55, but there's a little bit of traffic. Hope no one's going through too much traffic today. But wanted to chat about Caesar salads real quick. Do you know that Caesar dressing was invented in Mexico? I believe it was, I want to say Tijuana, could have been Juarez, in what was Caesar's Hotel, maybe Caesar's Palace, unaffiliated to the Caesars in Atlantic City. But yeah, so the way they used to do it is, well, what happened was they ran out of salad dressing for their chopped salad, wedge salad, and without they even knew, for their Caesar salad. So what happened was a chef did one of those kitchen sink operations where, you know, his solution was throw everything we got in the bowl, fuck it up real quick, give it a little flick of the wrist, toss the salad in that bitch, and serve it, see what the fuck happens. So what he did was he got a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of capers, a little bit of mustard and mustard seeds. He had a little bit of sardines in his fridge that he scrambled up in there, a little bit of egg yolk, and what que más? Black pepper, salt, I think a little bit of dill in there as well. And so the first Caesar salad dressing that he made didn't have dairy in it. Right, so it didn't have heavy creamer in it, and it wasn't that creamy white Caesar that we see, but it was more the pungent traditional Caesar, like the yellowish vinaigrette looking one, or Italian dressing looking one. But one of the lads made it from the kitchen, threw that together and mixed it up in a bowl. They used whole lettuce leaves at the time, so it wasn't so much a chopped salad, nor was it iceberg lettuce, head of lettuce style. It was the long leaves, probably about yay big, about the size of my face for reference. So mixed it all up, threw the leaves in there and mixed it up, and it was a hit. I think that was that might have been in the 40s. You know, it's interesting because Caesar's Hotel, Caesar was in I know he married Cleopatra. I know he was killed by his senators and all that. I forget exactly which year it was, but it's wild that, that we still know the name Caesar. Cincinnati, I believe, was actually a Roman dictator. So he was just on the farm living. I believe he had some political connections. And Rome was going through a war one time, where they needed an emperor or a dictator. We'll call him Cincinnati. And Rome needed a dictator for 6 months because they didn't have a leader at the time. And so they called upon this guy, Cincinnati, I believe his name was. And so he was dictator of Cincinnati. They invented the concept. And then he didn't need to lead for 6 months. He actually ended the war through a string of battles in a matter of a few weeks. We'll call it a month. But that leaves 5 months of dictatorhood that he agreed upon that he would rule. So they offered him the role to be dictator with, sort of all power to do whatever he wants. Cincinnati, stupid fucking, that's actually a nice Porsche. He is cooking. All right, let's catch up a little bit. I'm like 4 car distances behind the car behind me. About 4 car distances behind me is another car. We're all going about 60, 65 in this 55 heading back from the beach into my city in New Jersey, through New Jersey. But Cincinnati was the dictator for a month, and after the month they gave him the option to continue ruling, but he agreed that he would rule until the war's over. He said he really agreed to 6 months, but the point was until the war's over, and he relinquished his power. He just went back to the farm and kept it moving like a real noble person. He did his job and said, I'm out, fuck this, going back to my wife and kids, maybe hook me up with a pension or some shit like that. Whoever controlled the money at the time hooked him up. I'm sure the Coliseum was built at this time, who knows. So the point is, Cincinnati was a nobleman, and George Washington was actually much like Cincinnati, in that he was asked to be king after our forefathers, the founding fathers, had won the Revolutionary War. He respectfully and nobly declined to be king, and he was a general, and generals lead. At that time, him as a general led the army, and he had a group of, I'm not too familiar with the power rankings of the military. I want to say lieutenants. He had a regime of lieutenants also that supported him, that respected his decision to not be king, and we'll call them like the Cincinnati regime. And it was like, what do you want? You don't want to be emperor. General Cincinnati, Washington, and actually his regime, the plural to Cincinnati is much like Cincinnatus, I think, was actually the emperor's name, Cincinnatus, and it sounds a lot more Greco-Roman, so the Cincinnatus, General Cincinnatus, George Washington declined. The Cincinnatus sort of group he had around him, the plural of Cincinnatus is Cincinnati. So then they said, fuck that, we don't want a whole lot of power. Our Cincinnatus, General Cincinnatus, George Washington, we very much respect him. We agree with his motion. Just give us a little bit of land for us to go back to our families and farm on. And that's actually how Cincinnati, our great city of Cincinnati, was formed. So all of a sudden, I've got a new respect for Cincinnati, honestly, because it seems to be rooted in a sense of respect, a sense of humility, a sense of, modesty and core values, right? Good Christian values, such as, God, family, America, basically. And at the time, that's really what they stood for. They had they were given their land. Cincinnati was created. George Washington served his term as president. He was a one-term president before he said, fuck this, I'm out, I'm going to, I want to say he went to Cincinnati. It would be very poetic, but I'm not certain where he went. And then seen the next 46 presidents to now. So that's a little tidbit on Cincinnatus, General Cincinnati, George Washington, and all that bit from Caesar salad. So we did a little weave from Caesar salad, but all that brings us back is to salad and to my little crouton and croutonettes. So today, I'm hoping to have a little bit of salad. We're going to Xfinity to watch the Eagles game. They're playing the Cowboys. It's a division or conference game or division game. I forget what the term is. It starts at like 4:30. And it's funny because we've got these tickets to the Sixers game after, right? So we're going to go to Xfinity to watch the football game. And then hopefully have a salad there. There's a cheesesteak joint in there. I just started my bulk. So maybe I'll grab a cheesesteak. I'm not drinking because it's a Sunday. So we'll watch the game there. We're going to meet my brother-in-law, my sister, and their two friends. They started drinking at like 1 o'clock or some crazy shit like that on a Sunday. The Lord's fucking day. Don't ask me about it. So they're drinking. We're meeting them there for the game. I'm driving home. It's going to take me about another 45 minutes to an hour to get home. Buckle up. I don't know how long this thing's going to be. So the problem is that the Sixers tickets, I believe, are in a box, and it's my mom's box. I'm not going to tell you her name or company, she who shall not be named. It's her box, company box, and there's going to be co-workers there, there's going to be brokers there, there's going to be, I think, some leadership there, and you know, we have to be respectful, good, upstanding citizens. We want to be good children and family and spectators for the game, for my mom's sake, and all that fun stuff. But my sister and brother-in-law and 2 friends have been drinking, had been drinking for 6 hours by the time we get to the box, and inclusive of drinking at one of Philadelphia's premier sport attractions, Xfinity, which I don't know if you know Xfinity, but it's about 4 or 5 bars. It's 2 stories, 4 or 5 bars on the first floor, VIP and private rooms, whatever, on the second floor. The bars on the first floor are all on the perimeter, and they each have kind of a little outside section. There's another section at Xfinity that's a stage with another bar outside, and then there's 2 bars inside Xfinity, one in the middle. Actually, there's a few that aren't the ones already named, but there's one in the middle, and then one under a Megatron, basically, or Jumbotron, basically, showing whatever games or attractions are on, and then the bar under that. So music's loud, a lot of people, crowd of all ages. The game, I think, is away. I believe it's an away game against the Cowgirls. So, they're going to be fucked up for the game. I'm worried about, them showing up and saying some dumb shit. It's going to happen. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Who knows? I think my mom and my brother's girlfriend are going to meet us over there around game time. They'll probably head over maybe at 6, get there a little early, check into the box. I know they got a parking pass. My mom, I saw her during the week, was trying to get me to carpool with her. But my room is a fucking mess right now. So I got to go home and clean my room. Sandra's going to meet me at my house. We took separate cars because she's going to drive home on Tuesday. But thank God she's got to stop at the Gap and pick up some chick shit. She's picking up, I don't know, apparently she needs a new pair of pants. She wants to go to Trader Joe's and I told her to pick up some dumplings, but just some snacks for the next few days. I mean, I've got steak thawing in the fridge. Well, we'll see. I told my roommate to take it out, but I've got steak, about a week's supply of steak until I need to go for grocery shopping again, and veggies. Basically, all I eat is peas and carrots, frozen peas and carrots, frozen broccoli, cauliflower, and then I usually buy 2-3 weeks supply of meat at a time. Steak and fucking push-ups, baby. That's what this is all about. So maybe I'll go home. I'm supposed to work out legs today and core, but it's kind of an optional day. I try to hit legs twice a week. I did them on Wednesday. Did a little bit of cardio jump rope later in the week. Did a full upper body yesterday. So today is an optional leg day, a mobility volume leg day. So maybe I probably won't do it. I'm going to be on my feet a lot today at the bar and at the game. So just start back up tomorrow. Chest and try on Monday. Have a little protein shake. Legs on Tuesday. So all is well in the world. I rushed over to Sandra's house on Thursday. So I wanted to see my baby. And it always feels like I'm on vacation when I'm down the shore. So I drove down the shore, cloud of dust. Oh, there's fucking ATVs, an ATV and a dirt bike. Fatty on the dirt bike, skinny kid on the ATV. That's a sight. You'd think the big kid would be on the ATV. Whatever. So, 2 more. So, kind of driving through the Pine Barrens right now. The Sopranos actually filmed a few scenes here, but basically just woods of pine trees. That's maybe a quarter, 15% to a quarter of New Jersey's landmass is Pine Barrens. So anyway, who the fuck, what the fuck, Where the fuck was I? Everyone just chill out. We're just doing a little drive right now, you know? So my room's a mess. I'm gonna lose you. And I was rushing out on Thursday and, you know, didn't really get a chance to clean my room. And Lord knows I'm probably gonna go home to a dirty kitchen of probably trash recycling, dirty sink of silverware and plates and all that. And you know, we'll see if the dishwashers ran. I'll report back. This is just a little behind the scenes episode for the Patreon, just to give you guys some content. And you know, thank God that Sandra's making these stops, because I'm gonna have to clean my room and clean up a little bit before she gets there. You know, it's like one of those things where I've got a bunch of my bed sheets and stuff that I just washed on Thursday during the day, and then behind that load, when I put that in the dryer, I put a load of clothes in the washer, and then before I left, I threw those in the dryer. So I've got my bedding and towels on my bed that needs to be organized and done, and then I've got a string of clothes that need to be taken from my dryer and put away. Whatever fucking cleaning up I have to do after my roommate, probably gonna have to do that, or at least organize his mess so he can do it later and I can clean around it, wipe down the counters, all that fun shit. I don't really smoke weed, but he smokes a lot of weed. He smokes inside. I don't have a problem with that, but he does like half weed, half tobacco stuff. Half weed, half tobacco bowls, called Mamook, which is cool and all, but you know, you get cigarette tobacco on the counter. It takes up like a corner on the counter, and that's like not great, because then I gotta wipe around that. I move his shit to like a little side table that we have, so we can eat, because it's really just like on our fucking dining room table, you know, our kitchen table. So I like to move that, get that out of the way, trick my girlfriend into thinking that I live clean. So I'm trying to get ahead of that. You know, maybe I'll make a stop. My girlfriend made a really good breakfast. Sandra made a good breakfast today, folks. We had a little bit of leftover Chipotle from yesterday. Biggest goddamn bowl I've ever seen in my life. The dude said, if you're paying for guac, you gotta get guac. So he gave us like a full spoon and a half, and he trailed it along the side of the bowl. It was good shit. And they've got this new brisket steak that, you know, now they cycle out sometimes carne asada, sometimes some kind of puerco, sometimes some kind, now it's a brisket. So right now I got like a brisket and a steak, scoop of each. I crushed mine with a tortilla on the side, the old-fashioned way. Sandra got a chicken and steak burrito, or a chicken and steak bowl, guac, which we ate about 3/4 of yesterday. Got some chips to eat the rest of the guac off of, because that don't hold. And then fucked that up this morning. Sandra made some good eggs and toast, chopped up an avocado, put it over a little bit of the rest leftover Chipotle for me. And I had a nice huevos rancheros. And I had a banana and some nuts, did some work, cup of coffee, felt good. Felt real good. Now we're driving home. Sandra cleaned her apartment a little bit after eggs. She ate some breakfast. We were out of bed probably around 10 o'clock. My Fitbit says we got 9.5 hours of sleep. I don't think it was 9.5, because we were up watching The Sopranos to about 1 in the morning or something. So, you know, we're off to a good start today. I feel good, feel hydrated. You know, I've had a good long week. Saturday was kind of crazy. Or no, not Saturday. Friday was kind of crazy. I drove up to Morristown for some meetings, and on a whim, Sandra decided to come up with me to Morristown, which was awesome, because she was good support on the drive. It was like 2 hours up. Meeting started at 10, and then she did her thing around Morristown, sat in a coffee shop. You know, we like being out of the house, sort of thing. So my meetings went through lunch until about 1:30, which I then met up with her, and we went to a different cafe, did a little bit of work, strolled around Morristown and checked it out, got a good kombucha, took a good poop later, and then after Morristown, hopped in the car and popped into Hoboken because her day job is a clothing company, and they did a collaboration with a coffee shop in Hoboken. And so we went over to Hoboken, we got some food, we walked around the main street, I forget what it's called, and then popped into Rooster's Cafe. Is a little, where they did the collab, and they had a whole pop-up of Jetty stuff, and they gave us free coffee. So Sandra took some content there, and we hung out. It was a cute little day in Hoboken. We actually got Man on the Street interviewed by this short form content page on Instagram. Shout out Behind the Screens if you're listening. And we did a little interview on the Hudson, looking over New York City on a bench. We were actually sitting, I was still suited up. Sandra had on her city girl fit. We were caffeinated to fucking hell and back. These guys approached us after taking a seat for about an hour. We were seated because Sandra's got these new Sambas she's been wearing, but her socks were too short, and so she was getting blisters, so we were sitting down for a little bit. It actually became a very romantic moment, looking over the New York City skyline all the way from Midtown to Tribeca and the Financial District. And on the drive over, you can see the Statue of Liberty, who's actually a guy. I just found out Statue of Liberty doesn't have tits, so that's worth noting. And then we got interviewed about our lock screens and the story behind them and all that. We got to know the guys behind the screen a little bit and followed them. I don't have Instagram, but I created an Instagram for my Felix Bow show for you guys to follow for some updates and all that. Sandra's gonna be the point man on that, and followed them there. Maybe they'll shoot me a tag, we'll see. But that was kind of fun, And then after our night out in Hoboken, we went over to where did we go? We went down to Asbury Park, and as I like to call it, for an art show, which is gay, but whatever. And it was 3 dudes who, they do a good job, it's art. One of them makes knives, which I appreciated, and that same dude does pottery too, so that's fun. It's kind of tangible. And then the other guy does Photoshop art and then prints it out and does this sort of tracing over it, so it all looks really good. And then the other guy does other graphic design stuff, and so they rented out this exhibit for a month. It's really just 2 rooms on a corner property with a small parking lot, but they brought 2 trailers to block off seeing in and out of the exhibit, and behind the trailers was the building and a small section outside with food and drinks, and then inside was cool. It was one wall, we'll call it 3 walls, 1 wall for each guy basically, and the dude's sister knew a DJ, so they had a DJ and a disco ball. There was people moving and grooving. The people watching was good because with crunchy folk and these granola motherfuckers that do art and stuff, they're cool. Get down with them sometimes. And the crowd was good. A lot of overalls, a lot of people. I'm pretty sure all 3 artists had shitty long hair and kind of shitty beards, stubbles. No one looked clean. They all had gross names. I don't know. The one guy's name sounded like dirt. Might have been Bert. I don't know. And gross guys, whatever. So they were nice, So I was talking to one of them. He made a little magazine. It was interesting because nothing was for sale but the magazines that kind of showcased all the work, and it was $5 per mag that he was selling them for. They weren't really trying to make a profit, but I saw some older looking crunchy motherfuckers, jeans and suit jacket, jeans, blazer, and a turtleneck kind of guys with glasses that are expensive but they don't have a brand on them, sort of thing, that were there taking pictures with people were taking pictures with them. They seemed like maybe art brokers, gallery prospects sort of thing. So like that was cool. They were there. I didn't talk to them because they strike me as like Weinstein types, you know, like next thing you know they're gonna try to get me in their back room to suck their dick to blow up the pod, and they can suck my dick because I ain't doing that, and they can fucking eat the money out of my ass if they want payment for it. That's for goddamn sure. So fuck that. We were there for probably about 45 minutes, no more than 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, hanging, showing support, looking at the shit, talking, and then, you know, here's this thing. Why do girls sometimes, and this isn't my relationship, but why do girls sometimes, like, treat their guys, what I seem disrespectfully? Maybe, like, so, like, say you're hooking up with somebody, right? And then that person, you know, and you're hooking up with somebody, and there's this person who's kind of got, like, a crush on you. You've been leading them on a little bit for, like, a few months, maybe 6 months, but you're kind of a hoe or want to be, like, in your phase and hook up with other dudes. This other guy's, like, a sure thing, but you don't know how you feel about it. He's kind of simping. You're hooking up with other dudes, and eventually, you know, you give the simp a chance, and then you bring that person, you bring that dude around, your new boyfriend around, and to, like, parties and other places where you've been hooking up with the guys there, and now you've got this new boyfriend. And I just find that a little disrespectful, a bit of like a power trip, like, especially if you're not that close with, like, if there's no reason for you to go to, like, this party or something like that. Like, I would never bring my girlfriend around in a situation where there's going to be other people that I hooked up with there. You know, like, I wouldn't want to put my girlfriend, not for the sake of being secure or insecure, but it was more of a respect thing and comfort thing. Like, why would you bring your significant other into a situation where they have the potential to feel uncomfortable, where there's potential for conflict, where, you know, you've been around people of your past and you're there, you know, supporting their party or whatever. I don't know why anyone would put their partner in that situation when if you say you love them, you know? Like, dudes do it too, and, you know, it goes both ways. You know, I've been in situations where I've, you know, warned my girlfriend about, you know, we were thinking about going to this place, my friends and I, someone I used to see is going to be there, and, like, give them a little bit of a heads up, and then it works out. You know, maybe you run into that person, maybe you don't, and if you do, you just keep it moving, you know? So I don't know, like, it's all so strange to me sometimes. But after the art gallery, we went to fucking balls. Woo! Ugh. Big stretch. God, I love a red light sometimes. 99% of the times they're dog shit, but this is a good one. After after that the gallery in Asbury Park, we stopped over to another bar where we met up with our friend's sister and her friend, and, you know, had like a little head around. I wasn't drinking because I was driving, and I don't like to drink if I'm not going to get drunk. What's the point? So I don't drink often, maybe like once a week maximum, but I'll go 2-3 weekends without drinking just naturally. So we went to this bar, and it was fun. But, you know, like, when you work for a small company, sometimes, like, you tend to, it's different than a large company. Like, you tend to get friends at work. You tend to work in closer proximity. You develop, like, deeper relationships with the people you're working with, and you start to hang out with these people. So, like, our friend who we were meeting there, like, invited all our work friends, and next thing you know, it becomes almost like a company event. And, like, you want to separate work from life a little bit, or at least in my opinion. So we separate. So we ended up not staying very long because we didn't feel like being around all these like work people. So we went over to Johnny Mac's, which was really cool. For every beer you buy, you can get a pizza ticket, and you get like a little 12-inch personal pie with every beer you buy. So I did have a beer there because I wanted a pizza and we were hungry and I'd never seen it. They decorate for all the holidays. Well, they decorate for Halloween and Christmas. And then, kind of did the damn thing that way. And yeah, enjoyed Johnny Mac's, went home, and that was our Friday, and I'll go through Saturday in the next episode and how this sort of day plays out. All right, Crouton and Croutonettes, it's a pleasure seeing you. Love you guys. Wish you a safe drive home, and until next time.